It's done.
Okay. A very graceful morning, everyone. Myself, Nimi Menon, coordinator of IQAC of Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce, would like to extend a warm welcome to the resource person and each and every one of the participants for their valuable presence in this national webinar on ancient values event, a reassessment organized by IQAC and Student Development and Enrichment Cell of Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce in association with Christian Eminent College, Indore. I request everyone to please rise for our national anthem.
जय गणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जगति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you. Now, it is very truly said that values are like fingerprints. Nobody's values are the same, but you leave them all over everything you do. So, today's webinar basically is focusing on the relevance of the ancient values. Values are the broad preferences regarding one's course of actions or outcomes. It actually reflects a person's sense of right or wrong or what ought to be. Our India is rich in ancient values, which include spirituality, simplicity, pursuit of truth, universal tolerance, acceptance, we can say, non-violence, simple living, and high thinking and social service. And all these values are pertinent to our society. This spiritual wisdom has played a very pivotal role in clarifying the real destination to every one of us. Now, to sum up, we can say our value is a sum of our values. Now, before beginning this webinar, I would like to say that we are really fortunate to have the endless support from our chief patron, Honorable Secretary Shri Rajendra Mittal ji, in all our academic endeavors. I would also like to express our gratitude to our director and chief advisor, Dr. Suhasini Arya Madam, our principal, Dr. Shagun Srivastava Madam, Principal of Christian Eminent College, Dr. Rajesh Vyas sir, IQAC coordinator of Christian Eminent College, Dr. Preeti Thakur madam, and the organizing team who made the organizing of this webinar possible. And having Professor Ramesh as a resource person for this theme, it is a great privilege for us. Now, before moving on, I would like to request Darshika Karya madam, who is a chairperson of Student Development and Enrichment Cell, to talk about the objective of today's webinar. Darshika Karya madam, please.
Yeah, thank you, Nini madam. Warm greetings to the gathering. To each and every one of you, myself, Darshika Karya, on behalf of Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce, extend a cordial welcome. It is rightly said, it is not what I say is correct. It is not what you say is correct. It is what God says is correct. If you say what God says, then you are correct. If I say what God says, then I am correct. So we land up with the same statement again. What God says is correct. Talking about gold now. Gold kept in the locker years ago doesn't lose its value over the time. Be it yesterday, today, or tomorrow. Truth does not change. Ancient values do not change. They do not change with time. They do not change with place. They do not change with age. They are permanent. They are immortal. Old is gold is a well-known proverb that highlights the value, significance, and relevance of the gold. So we have this topic today, ancient values, archaic or relevant, a reassessment. Taking our webinar further, I would like to talk about our director, Dr. Suhasini Arya Madam. She is our mentor. She is the support system of our institution. Requesting you, Madam, to kindly take over for the inaugural address. Arya Madam.
Thank you, Darshika. Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome, one and all, um, for the today's national webinar number 14, hosted by Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce and Christian Eminence College, Indore. I also appreciate and welcome the entire team of the webinar participants and also the team of Christian Eminence College, Indore, and the team of Mittal College, and each and everybody who are connected to this webinar. Topic of today's webinar, as you all know, is ancient values, archaic or relevant, a reassessment. I would also like to welcome, give my special greetings to Dr. Rajesh Vyas and his entire team. With blessings of our chief patron and honorary secretary Shri Rajendra Mittal ji, and from entire Mittal College team, my warm greetings to our today's speaker, an eminent scholar and national artist, Professor V. Ramesh. Welcome, Ramesh ji. My few words of appreciation for you, Professor Ramesh. Art can speak things that can't always be said with words. And good art is made by good people like you. You are with us today. We are honored. I know Professor Ramesh for past 20 years. He is not only a good artist, but also a good philosopher and noble and very kind human being. It is said an optimist laughs to forget and pessimist forgets to laugh. Sir, you are an optimist who always make people laugh and smile. Your presence is always vibrating. Dear, dear friends, topic of today's webinar is on ancient values, which taught us the ways to lead peaceful, meaningful, happy, and healthy life. Those who practice these values were exceptional individuals. But with the course of time, these values of human life got contaminated and we have forgotten the aim of life completely with the development of technology and materialistic life. If you speak to the young generation about equality of life, peace, etc., mental peace one should have, etc., etc., they will say that you are old-fashioned. Let us be in the race and let us compete. This materialistic approach to lead life has added complexities and we are losing peace of mind. Today, work is judged by result, not by beginning. Today, aim of education is to get good rank and good job. No emphasis is given on enhancing human values at ground level. After completion of education, every youth aims at getting good job. Good job in his dictionary is a job which is paying very well. There is no meaning to the quality of life at all. It is totally ignored. Thus, we are forgetting our moral values and moral duties, which was considered as mandatory to, to lead a good, happy, perfect life. These values are now just the pages of our closed, they are just now in the pages of our closed holy books. Professor Ramesh is going to give a delightful talk on today's topic. I am sure his wonderful speech on this subject will yield a lot of valuable insights. With these few words, I declare this webinar open. My best wishes to organizing team and participants. Over to you, Darshika.
Yeah. Thank you, Arya madam, for your inspiring words. Now, I would like to share one of my favorite quotes with everyone. Greatness is not enough, goodness is required. I repeat, greatness is not enough, goodness is required. Yes, I'm talking about Dr. Rajesh Vyas, sir, Principal Christian Eminent College, Indore. Sir is not only great, he is good too. Sir, requesting you to kindly address this virtual gathering.
थैंक यू दर्शिका मैडम, और आप जितना बोल रहे हो उतना हो नहीं. A very good morning to all. On behalf of Christian Eminent family and Srimati K.G.Mittal family, I heartily welcome Honorable Professor V. Ramesh Sahab from Department of Fine Arts, Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, Shri Rajenji Mittal Sahab, Honorable Secretary, Marwadi Vidya Trust, Shri Samir Mir Sahab, Honorable Chairman, Christian Eminent College, Dr. Swasini Arya Madam, Director, Srimati K.G.Mittal College, Professor H.N. Gupta Sahib, Director, Christian Eminent College, Professor Y.S. Chauhan Sahib, Director, Administration, Christian Eminent College, Dr. Shagun Srivastava Madam, Principal, Srimati K.G.Mittal College, IQAC and Student Development Enrichment Cell, Srimati K.G.Mittal College, IQAC team of Christian Eminent College, and all the respected and eminent dignitaries. Firstly, on behalf of Christian Eminent family, I am thankful to the management and administration of Srimati K.G.Mittal College, Mumbai, and especially to Dr. Swasini Arya Madam for providing an opportunity to associate in this wonderful and fruitful event. Our Christian Eminent College is an autonomous PG college having a special
suffering in life, just as fast foods and intoxicants and spoil our health forever. One must be ethical and moral at all point of time, since these principles are eternal, which can never be outdated. I would like to conclude my address by quoting Buddha. Just as a candle can't burn without fire, human beings cannot have a meaningful life without spirituality. Thank you. Jai Hind. Over to Nimi.
Thank you so much, Shagun madam. That was really enlightening. And the spiritual values that you talked about, that was really delighting, madam. Now, before moving ahead, it's a kind request to the participants to pose their queries in the YouTube live chat box, which we will be taking up afterwards at the end of the session. So it's a request to the participants to pose their queries. Now, I request Mamta Balwanti madam, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to introduce today's resource person, Professor Ramesh sir. Over to you, Mamta madam.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Respected Mittal sir, respected Director, Arya Madam, respected Principal Shagun Madam, respected Dr. Rajesh Sir, IQAC coordinators, Neetu Madam, Rashmi Madam, my dear virtual participants. I feel very proud and honored to introduce such an international personality today, V. Ramesh Sir. V. Ramesh Sir was born in Andhra Pradesh, postgraduate in Fine Arts from MS University, Baroda. Sir has been teaching at the Department of Fine Arts, Andhra University, Vishakhapatnam since 1985. Sir has participated in select solo exhibitions, Center of Contemporary Art, New Delhi, different art galleries in Bangalore, Mumbai, Vishakhapatnam, Chennai, Baroda, American University Museum, Washington, D.C., and Threshold Art Gallery in January 2017. Sir has also participated in select group exhibitions, Jahangir Art Gallery, Mumbai, New Delhi, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, different galleries, painted travelogues gallery, Threshold, New Delhi, also painted travelogues of China and Greece, New Delhi in 2008, painted travelogues of Bali and Burma in New Delhi, and participated and awarded in All India Graphic Exhibition, Chandigarh, New Delhi, Havana, Cuba, Bhopal, Mumbai, and has participated and awarded Indian Art Summit 2010-11, World Economic Forum, Switzerland, Indian Art Fair in New Delhi. Sir has been felicitated, awarded in different galleries in Chandigarh, New Delhi, Bhopal, Switzerland, Mumbai, etc. And the list of awards is endless. It starts right from 1981 till today. So we are having a very good personality, very internationally renowned personality today for the session. And Sir has been felicitated with many prestigious awards, including Sanskriti Award in 1993, Senior Fellowship Department of Culture in 1995 to 97, and Junior Fellowship for 1990 to 93 in the Department of Culture. And Sir, over the years, Sir has held numerous senior positions in academic field. Sir was head of the department, chairman of the Board of Studies, member of the University Academic Senate, and also a special visitor to the Central University of Hyderabad. So participants, you can all Google for Sir paintings, V. Ramesh paintings. So with these few words, I end. And Ramesh sir, please pardon me if I have not done justice to your long CV. Thank you very much. Over to Ramesh sir.
So please unmute. Sir,
Mute. Do you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Done,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, sir.
Fine. Good morning again, everyone. And first of all, I'm deeply touched and moved by all these kind and great words you said about me. Thank you, all of you, from the bottom of my heart. I am honored to be associated with this organization and with college. Though this is not the first time. I've been to Mittal College earlier for a seminar, and here I am talking in a webinar again. By the way, do you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, I would like to come back to the topic at hand, old values, archaic or relevant? This topic, I thought, was extremely significant and relevant to the kind of times we are living in. Not just Indian society, but all societies in the world, humanity at large, is going a huge crisis, which is going to have a deep impact on the way we think, on the way we live, and the way the future is going to, whatever the future is going to hold for us in the coming days. So, this is a very apt time for us to kind of look back on what we have been doing, what we have been giving our children, our students, and what our own behavior patterns have been in a society of which we are part. So before discussing the relevance of certain values, it's important that one knows or one is clear about the word value. What does value mean? People have, I think all our friends have quoted very large words, which I'm afraid of, things like truth, things like spirituality. These are all nice words. We can use them. How much do we actually, how should I put it, follow them in our own personal life? That is the moot question. So, I would like to take off this debate or this talk from the very basic definition of what is a value. What is a value which we are talking about? I did a little bit of homework, and I'm going to read it out for you. Just go through it. It's not very complicated. The dictionary defines values are individual beliefs. Values are individual beliefs that motivate people to act in a particular manner. Now, this is a value. In a society, which is actually a community of people, there could be a majority of people are motivated to act or think in a particular manner because it's beneficial to the society at large, to the community at large. So that motivation or that idea is accepted as a value, incorporated as part of your daily life. And over years, over centuries, if a value holds good for that society, it is accepted as a cherished ideal, a cherished value, and people believe that this value has to continue in the coming generation. It becomes part of our tradition, it becomes part of our culture. Having said that, why is tradition important? Not just because it's part of our history or it belongs to our culture. We are very proudly say Indian culture, but nobody has any idea what Indian culture is about. It's just vaguely we use the term Indian culture, Indian heritage, Indian tradition. What is tradition? Tradition represents, it's actually symbolic of a critical piece of our culture. Tradition is important to keep the structure and foundation of our society at large. Tradition sometimes keeps, it's like an unseen, invisible gum which holds the society together. Sometimes tradition, when it's no longer relevant, or values, when they are no longer relevant, can also break up a society, which we'll see in the coming talk how it can happen. You see, when it comes to ancient values, Indian philosophy and Indian thought has very wisely, I would say very wisely, divided human life, the aim of human life, every human life, into 4 categories. Now, these are the 4 categories which every human being is supposed to follow, irrespective of your gender, of your caste, of anything. I'm going to come to it. These are called the Purusharth. There are 4 Purusharths. The first Purusharth is Dharma. Dharma as not is religion. Dharma is not religion. We sometimes mistake and misidentify Dharma with religion. Dharma in the Indian context, Indian philosophical thought, represents a way of living, a way of righteous way of living and thinking and behaving. That is Dharma. So the first Purusharth is Dharma, which means every human being has to follow the Dharma of his status in society, Dharma of his society in which he belongs to. And this Dharma is not static. This Dharma can change. This Dharma is a very dynamic, energetic thing which changes according to man's thought and development. We had some of our participants talking about technology advancement, scientific advancement, how we should kind of combine together our ancient thought and scientific thought. Well, Dharma in that sense also involves moving with times. The second is Artha, or economic progress. Dharma, Artha. Every human being has a right and should earn money or earn wealth, not by stealing, not by cheating, not by killing someone, but by means of dharma, by righteousness. By righteous means, one has every right and one should earn wealth for the upkeep of your family, for your own upkeep, and for the dutiful discharging of the duties which you're supposed to do. So this whole thing of Indian society not giving importance to wealth is wrong. Wealth, to earn wealth is also encouraged in the Indian context, Indian thought, though the means of earning it is in a righteous manner. That has to be kept in view. The third is dharma, artha, kama. Kama is desire. People talk of desire in a very negative sense. We kind of push it under the carpet and deny that Indian philosophy, Indian thought, or Indian culture, or Indian values have anything to do with desire or karma. It's not so. We have given equal importance to earning wealth as to desire, because it's part of human nature, as long as it is indulgent through righteous means, which is dharma. Dharma is the underlying static, constant thing through which one indulges in other activities. And the fourth one is moksha, which is realization of truth or realization of Godhead. Now that through all these means, when one has exhausted earning wealth, satiating your desires through the righteous means, and done your duties in the righteous means, it obviously will lead eventually to moksha or liberation. Now, these are the 4 Purusharths which the Indian thought or Indian philosophical thought gives importance to. Having said that, I would like to talk briefly about certain values, certain ideals or principles which Indians or Indian society has always given a lot of importance. We are talking of old values. What are these old values, which I think we should cherish in times as we live in now? We see chaos everywhere, we see disorder everywhere, we see utter confusion everywhere. People have no idea. What are these values, which even I think are very significant and essential to a fulfilling life? Not only an individual's life, but which would add to the good, to the community, to the society at large. In that sense. Before I move to these values, there's something which I would like to share with you. The difference between development of Indian philosophy or Western thought or Western philosophy has been that in the Western way of thinking, the central image around which, or the central main narrative around which everything revolved or your thought developed was the human being. The Western thought believed that the human being is center to everything else and everything else should follow it. Hence, we see how it has also led to a whole lot of destructive tendencies of destroying nature, of destroying other creatures, wars.
ये वीडियो रमेश सर बात कर रहे हैं वो दिख नहीं रहा है मेरे को.
Do people hear me?
स्पीकिंग आ रहा है फिर योर वीडियो इज स्टॉप्ड आ रहा है.
मैं थोड़ी देर रेस्ट देता हूँ. सब देख रहे हैं मुझे, सुन रहे हो? नहीं तो नहीं. हाँ जी.
So you're audible and visible both.
Okay, can I continue?
दूसरे मोबाइल से मेरे को ले लो, मैंने उसमें ये किया हुआ है. ले लो मेरे को दूसरे मोबाइल.
Should I continue?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So as I was talking, as I was telling you, the Western thought or the Western philosophical systems have always placed man as a measure of all things, man as the center, which has given rise to a distinct way of looking at the world, distinct way of doing art, distinct way of behavior patterns, everything. While the Eastern method, or I would say specifically the Indian way, the human being is not central to existence. He's just one amongst the many. We are just one amongst the many. There's a whole creation out there. Nature, the animal world, the world of birds, trees, stones, rivers, everything. And we are one amongst them. So in that sense, there was this realization that you cannot go around destroying nature. You cannot go around inflicting violence on others, because when you inflict violence on others, you're not just doing it on others, you're doing it to yourself. That is something which is very important, a very moot point. And that is something which we have lost track of over the years. As somebody was saying, we live in a world where it's each one for himself or herself. We need to get the best education, we need to get that job, we need to get that salary, we need to get that wife, and we need to put our children in that school, and it continues. So we are not really bothered about our environment, our society, our world. This is something which I think probably the worst influence of West on Indian thought, I will say, is not clothes. People talk of how kids are affected by clothes, food, music. No, the whole of Indian society, we have forgotten that we are not the center of universe. We are one amongst the many. And the minute you inflict pain or injury to others, you're doing it to yourself. And perhaps the times we live in now has proved it once again that it's not just people who are dying in Italy or Spain or America. How does it matter to us living in India? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? वो लोग मर रहे हैं, वो बीमार पड़ रहे हैं. It's not so. We are all part of the larger humanity. We have to live together and die together. So even in an Indian society, we have to keep this in mind. A couple of weeks back, there was a large controversy, and all of us have seen pictures of poor laborers walking back home, migrant labor. Now, everybody, there were pictures in Facebook, there were pictures in WhatsApp saying sorry, and nobody's doing anything. Everybody felt sorry for them. But I wonder how many of us actually had the decency or the courage or even step out and feed a family. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Here I would like to quote a very well-known sage of 20th century who lived in south of India, who was a great enlightened soul. He was asked, how should we treat the others? He was asked a question. I mean, he was an enlightened person who had realized truth, and he was considered as, because he had realized truth, in the Indian parlance, he was considered as God. And he was asked, how should we treat the others? How should we treat others? So he smiled and said, for the realized person, there are no others. There are no others. It's such a beautiful thing. When you say there are no others, which means you accept the fact that the whole world is you and you are the whole world. Why will you cause injury to yourself? Why will you break your hand or leg? You will not. So, by causing injury to others, by causing injury to the world, you're causing injury to yourself. You're causing harm to yourself. That is a value which we have forgotten. We have come to a stage of each one for ourselves. I think that has to be foregone. That's one of the. So now I would like to come upon certain values which I personally believe are the trademark trait of our Indian civilizational structure. Over the years, over centuries, these have been part of our culture. These have given us strength. These have held our society together. These have held our people together. I'll just read them out. And all of you have heard about it. Some of you have spoken now. But once again, the first one is Tyaga. त्याग सब जानते हैं. त्याग का मतलब रेनुंसिएशन, छोड़ देना नहीं. मैंने आइसक्रीम त्याग कर दिया या मैंने उस चीज को त्याग कर दिया. It's not just that. It's the question of how much can you leave of your personal selfishness to ensure that others can be happy. We are not. We have forgotten that idea. There used to be a custom amongst Hindus. I don't know how far it's true, it's there in the north, but south it used to be there, that when you go to Kashi or Benares, you leave something which you like. You त्याग करते हैं जो हमें बहुत अच्छी चीज पसंद है. तो people say, मुझे आम पसंद है, मैं आम को त्याग कर रहा हूँ, गंगा में छोड़ दिया. या मुझे ये पसंद है, मैंने करेला को छोड़ दिया. But see, these become very flippant attitudes. The whole idea was, what are the vices which you can leave? What are things that you are not attached to anything and you have the strength to forego for the greater good. That is tyaga. The second one is nishtha. Nishtha is a word we all know. It's dedication. Nishtha towards our job, nishtha towards our community, nishtha towards our society, nishtha towards our profession, dedication. The third is satya. We all know what satya is truth. Truth again. This can, a lot of people can say it can be debatable because I'm not going into it. Maybe when the questions come and somebody asks, we can give examples where some of these values have been eschewed or discarded at certain occasions. Why? We'll come to that. Then there is ahimsa or non-violence, which is again, as I said, does non-violence always hold good? Or can we actually pick up arms depending on the context? That calls for a different debate and examine altogether. And the last one is upeksha. Upeksha means a kind of inner strength, forbearance. You have the strength to take any kind of stress, to take any kind of tension, to face any difficulty with a smiling face, to have that upeksha towards it. Now, these are some of, I think, old values which have stood as good and which we seem to have forgotten. Why did we forget these values? And who is responsible for it? I have seen my friends, my friends who have young children in school, blaming the teachers, that the teachers don't teach them the right values. The teachers don't tell them what is right or what is wrong. No, I think the whole attitude is wrong. The whole way of looking at them. It's parents at home who start this with their behavior, with the way they talk, with the way they behave. The child picks up. It's obviously it's a teacher's duty to tell the student. But this is not a moral class where you tell the student, ye sahi hai, ye galat hai, ye karo, ye mat karo. Values are not this. Values are what? Which are incorporated in our life. Right from the time you're born to the minute you die. These are values which are stay with us. So I think the primary and the first duty of every parent who has a child is to instill this kind of right values. How do you instill these values? Not by telling them, not by telling beta, jhoot mat bolo, hamesha sach bolo. And the next moment the child sees a father or mother lying for something on the phone. Oh, ghar mein nahi hai, ye ghar mein hai. So you realize so it's important that the parents, through their behavior, teach. I have been a teacher for 35 years, and I've always believed that the best way to teach students is to be what I'm telling them to be. That's the only way. The last 35 years, there have been times when I was so busy. There have been strikes. I have been gone through periods of teaching when there were strikes, there was strife, there was so much of work. And yet, I had the discipline that when I come back home, I paint for 1 hour or 2 hours. That is my discipline because I'm trained to be a painter. I have to do it. Now, when my students saw it, I realized over a period of time, all of them, I think I feel very happy and proud that I have been able to instill this kind of discipline or this value to give importance to your work. That come what may, you work. You see, come what may, you are not afraid of making a mistake. These are values which a parent, primarily, it should come from the parent, install into the child, carried forward and reinforced in the school. And I can assure you, I can guarantee you, the child will grow into a a complete, fulfilled, responsible, whole human being. I'm not saying somebody who earns six-figure salary, drives a BMW and lives in a 3-bedroom apartment in Malad. No. But somebody who's a good human being, who's part of this society, who will ensure that he's not going to harm others, he's not going to inflict violence on others, he's not going to destroy anything. So, and the time has come for all of us, as I was talking before the seminar, to rethink not just our lives, but our work patterns. We have to rethink the way we are going to teach. We have to rethink the way we are going to behave. We have to rethink the way we are going to live in future. On that note, I would say thank you everyone for listening to me, and I'm ready to take questions. Any questions which come my way. There are innumerable stories of how values have been upheld. You know, our two great epics, Ramayana and the Mahabharata. There's so many stories. People talk of dharma, people talk of the values, and yet there have been stories about how these values have been forgotten, how the values were transgressed, and how people, and why did they do it. We'll come to, if there are any questions, probably I'll come to a story to talk about it, or I'm very happy to take any questions from the audience. Right? Do people hear me?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir.
Yes.
Sunil sir,
Huh?
unmute.
Yes. Haji, I can't listen anything. I can't listen to anything.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Sunil sir.
No, I can't.
1 second, sir.
Right.
Yeah. 1 second. Sunil sir.
Meanwhile, sir, we can have a story from your side.
No. No. Nay, when I said story, we always insist that we should speak the truth. And yet, in a book like Mahabharata, there have been instances when somebody like Yudhishthir, who always spoke the truth, spoke a lie.
Hello.
Hello, yes? Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do
Yes, sir. Yes.
Do people hear me? Yes? No, I don't. I don't hear Shagun madam. I think she's trying to say something.
Sir, you're audible.
Yeah.
Now I hear you. Yes,
It was
yes.
a fantastic lecture, sir. Very good address, sir.
So, see, when one also has to keep it in view and mind, ki as times change, as contexts change, there are times when values perhaps have to be discarded in the larger interest of people. We all spoke of truth, and yet in the Mahabharata, Yudhishthir, who always prided himself that he always spoke the truth. Do you hear me? Okay. Yudhishthir, who always prided himself that he always spoke the truth, spoke a lie, had to speak a lie. So there have been instances. In the Ramayana, you see Ram killing Wali from behind 7 trees, not face to face. This is the only example where he killed somebody पीछे से वार करते हैं. He kills him from back. Of course, there are explanations later given as to why. But these are the things which kind of rankle in your mind. Why did this happen? I would also like to believe that Indian epics, Indian stories have shown not only great characters but also gods as human beings with all their weaknesses, that this is what one can get down to. So our struggle in life has to be constantly keeping in mind that we constantly keep in mind the right values we believe in and see if you can uphold them in every aspect of your life. If you can do that, I'm not saying everybody can do it, but one can try. One can give it as a gift, as a treasure to your children, certain values. And I certainly believe strongly that values have to be given to people right from childhood, from parents. It's not something which you go into 5th standard and you have a moral study lesson where you're taught that you should speak the truth or this is right or that is wrong. Nobody will learn anything by telling them this is right or this is wrong. If a child sees a parent doing something, he will automatically follow. If a child sees his adults, the teacher doing something, he will automatically follow. That is the way of giving values. And that is a responsibility on all of us. So in that sense, yes, we have a greater responsibility, and a greater responsibility because old values, what we have spoken about, like truth, honesty, compassion, these have become passe. People don't believe in it anymore because they don't pay you. There are other things which are more profitable. हाँ जी सुनील जी.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah.
बोलिए.
Sir, मेरा कंप्यूटर हैंग हो गया था. Okay, now I'm okay. So,
thank you जी.
Sir, wonderful session, very insightful session, and in a very brief words, I can say that is old is gold.
हाँ जी.
Yeah. Sir, from the audience, from the participants, there are few questions.
So, fine.
Yeah. First question: values play an important role in our life.
Yes.
How we can be explained to the small kids and school going children?
Right. जैसे मैं बोल रहा था beforehand, you don't explain. See, that is the mistake we make. We think that this is some kind of lesson to be given by explaining to kids. You don't explain. They don't learn anything if you explain. You live. As parents, you live a life with the right values. The child will do it. As a teacher, you behave towards the children with the right values. The children will know it. You can't say, ye acha hai, ye bura hai. I have learned in life, as with my 30 years of teaching, that you cannot give ethics and morality on a plate to people and say, accept it. This is right. They will not. Nobody will. But if you see I say parents because children spend more time with their father, mother. They see things happening at home. They pick it up. That's the way it has to be. Unfortunately, मैं समझता हूं कि we ourselves as parents and teachers, we make compromises in our life. कि हम लोग ऐसे sometimes we behave in manner which go against our values, thinking that nobody has seen us. But children are very perceptive. They pick up. I know children pick up things. बच्चों को the best teachers are not teachers but parents. I would still say when children are young, all these things have to come from parents. So when I say parents, all of us who are parents here have to learn the fact what you can give your child. Sunil ji.
Very correct. Yeah, very correct, sir. Sir, there's another question. During modern time, modern era, to follow the values, different values, it is very difficult. Yeah. And how
Pardon? What are the values?
Please opinion on it. So, sir, I repeat the question. During modern time, modern era, to follow the values is very difficult. To follow the values is very difficult during modern time. Hello.
I got your question. I heard your question. Yes, you are. I heard your question.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Values are not the right. If values are right, you cannot put them in slots and say in a way कि ये उस जमाने का है. These values are for this zamana. These values are for modern zamana. Values, if they are right for all ages. There are certain values everybody should follow. Compassion, kindness towards another human being. This is a value. There's nothing difficult in following. But this has to be learned or given to the child, that one has to be kind. One has to have a feeling of compassion towards another human, another being. So this is not a difficult thing. To speak the truth as much as possible, not to hurt people, not to steal things. These are certain things we have to give the child. You cannot say we cannot live with it. If you don't give the right values, we will live in a society. You're seeing the society, kind of society we live in. It will lead to a lot of violence. We live in a society where there's a lot of violence, strife, everything. It has to start. It has to start. There's no other way of modern society and old society. Okay? In fact, I strongly believe that as a society, as a human society, as we progress more and more, some of these old values will come back with a stronger strength so that they become part of our lives. We have to do it. See, it's like I'm telling you, somebody is not well, you go to a doctor, he says, if he says कि injection देना है, and you say मेरे को injection नहीं लेना है क्योंकि मेरे को दुखता है, I'm scared of injection, you're not going to get well. You have to have your injection. There are certain values which have to be taught to all children. No, it depends upon them, how they take it, how they reject it. See, I'm not saying that by giving the right values, we are making everyone enlightened. No. But it's the duty of every parent that when the child is young, you instill the right values in them, which people have forgotten nowadays. I strongly believe that. Yes, Sunil.
Yes, sir. Very correct. Now the next question.
No.
Some values were not mentioned in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Hello.
Yes.
Some values were not mentioned in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Express your opinion on it. So this is the question, sir.
Some values are.
Do I repeat, sir?
Yeah, please.
Some values were not mentioned in Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Yes. I was.
Explain your opinion on it. Yeah.
No, I was just talking about it. How in the Ramayana and Mahabharata, people have moved away from certain values they believed in. That is because of the context. That also because in the longer run, if by leaving a certain value, you can benefit a larger society in a larger manner, yes, it is justified. In Mahabharata, it is justified that Yudhishthira can speak a lie. In Mahabharata, it is justified that you can kill someone unjustifiably. These are justified because it's in the cause of bigger cause, for the greater good of humanity. I think what perhaps we have forgotten is we are here to discuss Are these values important in our life? All the old values which are talking, or do we just throw them away? We don't need them. These are the values which are holding our society together. Sunil, I believe most of these values are holding our society together. And yes, we hold them. There are certain values which have come because of certain geographical region, because of certain cultural reason. These can be discarded if they don't suit our times. Right, Ji? Anybody else?
Hello.
Yes.
So next question is, yes. Next question is how to imbibe the external values to the changing society.
How to imbibe?
How to imbibe the external values to the changing society.
How to society. In a changing society, how to imbibe the I'm sorry, you're not very clear. You're not audible. Can anyone repeat his question if it's clear to them?
Yes. Sir, I have a question. How to imbibe external values?
External values.
Eternal values, sir. Eternal values.
Yes. Yes, which is what I was talking. There are certain things which are transient. The society changes. The context changes. There are certain values which we might find unnecessary and discard them. Perfect. But there are also certain values which we hold, which binds us as human beings. If we call ourselves human beings, we should hold those values. I think a thing like compassion, kindness towards another human being is one important value which I value over everything else as a human being, which makes you different from animal world, which makes you a human being. So even if society changes, tomorrow there could be the greatest invention. You as a human being should have a sense of compassion. If you don't have it, that is what you're no longer a human being. So I think even in a changing society, in a society where maybe certain values have changed, our way of living has changed, there are still certain eternal values which we hold dear. You are not going to go and steal from some other person. This is a value. It does not belong to you. We hold it dear. You're kind towards another person. You're not going to inflict violence on somebody. You're not going to kill someone on your whim, as animals do. You don't. There are certain values which are eternal values, which have come to us through the ages. So whether society changes or people change or your country change, it does not matter. I think for humanity at large, these hold true and they are eternal. Period. Hanji.
Another question is that.
Yes.
Another question: how one could adopt values speaking about the society values, speaking about the society at large for competition, but for competition leading to me, first leading to us.
Can somebody repeat the question?
Should I repeat?
Yeah, please.
Please repeat. Yeah. How one could adopt values, speaking about the society at large in today's time,
yes,
which is full of cutthroat competition,
yes,
leading to me first instead of us.
Yes. We are precisely in a society which is a cutthroat competition because we have left our values. We are in a society where you want to dig a hole for somebody to fall so that you can do better in life. You want to climb on somebody's shoulder and climb so that you can achieve things. You are not thinking about the other person. I'm not saying this kind of feeling was not there earlier. It was always there. People wanted, people were greedy, people stole, but in a society at large, we still have to give importance to these values to hold us together as human beings. We have to. You are not going to, just because we live in a cutthroat society, you don't tell your child, ki beta, go and steal from your friend's bag or go and steal from neighbor. Ya usko maar ke wo leke aa jao. You don't tell them. You see, there are certain values which hold us together as human beings, and we have to give them. We have to keep repeating the values. One hopes that what the parent gives to the child will come in good stead when the child grows up, but you cannot forego not giving these values. You have to. If you want your child to be a good human being, you have to. Now, come to think of it, there have been Sunil, there have been a lot of people.
Yes.
We have heard in news, जो पैसा खा के भाग गए, who murdered people, who have done this, who have done that crime. See, I was just thinking, उनके बचपन में, how did the parents been? The parents must have told, beta, don't do this, don't do that. They must have been taught a good thing. No parent will tell the child, go and kill someone or go and steal someone. They must have been given the values. But unfortunately, all I can say is it was their karma which led them to that kind of thing. But yes, if we have to hold together as a human society, what is holding us today are these values. We have to give it to our next generation.
Sir, the next question is, parents give the same environment to the children, then why the siblings have different nature in term of value?
See, which is strange. Parents give the same values to two siblings. One can become a crook, one can be a good man. It happens all the time. But then that's, as you said, it's nature. Though the siblings go to the same school, one can be good at studies, one is not good at studies. One becomes an engineer, one becomes something else. There's no saying. That does not mean that you stop giving them good values just because they grow differently. One does things with all good faith and all good hope, and one has to do it as a parent, as a teacher, as a responsible human being in this society in which we live. We have to do our duty with full faith. It can happen, it cannot happen. That is not in our hands. And I think sometimes we don't even have to worry.
Yes, sir. Very correct.
Haji.
Yeah, sir. The next question is how to deal with terrorism. How to deal with terrorism in the loss of basic moral values.
How to deal with question? Can somebody repeat the question, please? Terrorism, yes.
How to deal with terrorism in the loss of basic moral values?
Yes, I think this is. This gets us to the point of, you had asked an earlier question that in our epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana, people have moved away from certain values. Can you explain that? We live in a society which is rapidly changing. He's talking of terrorism. There are different forms of violence. There are different forms of domestic violence, different form of society violence. Terrorism is one form of violence. It's a very complicated question. I mean, do I stand before somebody, a terrorist, and say, shoot me? I believe in ahimsa? No. Even Gandhi ji, who believed in non-violence, at one point said that if you're being harmed, to defend yourself, you have to indulge in himsa. It's your right as a human being to defend yourself, defend your family, and defend your nation. That is one of your, that's also a value, and that is also your duty. So in that sense, if you have to protect your family and your children and your country and your society, you indulge in violence, I suppose it is not condemned or it's not taken as a wrong thing. And these are, no, what I would like to say is, now we are threading on issues of morality, of ethics, of what we should do and what we should not do. There are no clear-cut answers. One second. There are no clear-cut answers for how we should do it. These are, we have to decide sometimes for ourselves within the parameters of what we believe in, of our values. There's a person, I forgot his name. What Singh is he? Wait, I'll get the name. He was the chairman and managing director of Procter Gamble. His name, Gurmeet Singh, Gurcharan Das. I think his name is Gurcharan Das. Now, he has written on the Mahabharata, a short commentary, where he's talking that Mahabharata on one hand is telling you that this is the right way to behave, and in the next chapter, they show a character who's totally going against it. You know, what is it? So when society changes, when the context in which we live, it changes, I think values are also transformed to meet those challenges. Hanji.
Sunil sir.
I think this is the last question of the session.
Yes.
Yeah. The question is how to improve spirituality following life, because human always learn till the death.
Well, one of you can repeat the question because
shall I repeat, Sunil sir? Sunil sir, I'll repeat. How to improve spirituality follow in life, because humans always learn till the death.
Yes. Spirituality is a very strange subject. What spirituality does not mean one goes and sit under a tree and meditate, or goes into a temple and meditate. I think spirituality for me is to take the whole of life, the whole of existence into consideration and believe. I honestly, truly believe that I am part of this as they are part of me. So one tries not to harm as much as possible with its means the others, because the others are also you. If one can do that, if one can have that compassion for others within your heart, I think that is spirituality enough. One need not go to a temple or a place of worship or anywhere. I think if you have that kind of, have that compassion in your heart for other living human beings, for everything which is around you, I think you are a very great spiritual being. I would say that you are a spiritual being. A spiritual being is just not, it's not necessary that you have to be here. Okay, let me come to my small story. Some of the two greatest sages of 20th century and 19th century in India, one is Ramakrishna Paramahansa and the other was Ramana Maharshi. Both of them, I think they spoke very little of ethics and morality and what has to be done and what has not to be done. I think they showed by the way they lived, by the simplicity, by the way they treated other human beings, by the way they treated even animals, by the way they lived, by the way they ate, by the way they treated other humans. This was spirituality. Every movement of your life is spiritual. Then spirituality is not something you say, okay, half an hour of 24 ghante mein se I will go and sit silently and that becomes spiritual. No. every moment of your life has to be spiritual. Then only it can be a very fulfilling life. Does that answer anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Sunil sir. Sunil sir.
Sunil
So
sir
there are
has
many. There are two more questions which are there. Two more questions are there. Is there
Please
some
go.
absolute definition of good or bad, or these terms depend on time, place, and situation?
No, I don't believe in absolute good and bad. They are relative. They believe they.
Right. It's related.
You know, they. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do you people hear?
Yes,
There's
yes,
no
yes, sir.
absolute good and there's no absolute good and bad. When one says something is very good, one is actually saying it in comparison to something which you think is bad. Or when one says something is very bad, one is actually saying it in comparison to something which you think is good. These are all relative terms. I think as normal human beings, one need not get into these dialectics of good, bad, how should I behave. I think one is a good human being. What is a good human being? These things will automatically fall into their place. What do you mean by good? If I say I'm a very good person, but I go and kill someone because that fellow does not agree with me, well, that's that. Is that Sunil, sir?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Sir,
Anji.
very valuable explanation which is given by you for the questions raised by the participants. So, on behalf of our college, I express my gratitude and thank you, sir. Nimmi ma'am.
Sir. Sunil sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Ramesh sir, I'm very
Anji.
sorry to interfere. There is actually a few more questions which are pouring in. One is, sometimes truth is very much hurting. So what do we do? Does the phrase practice what you preach, it is practical or what? And sometimes values may not be rewarding. Then there is a dilemma.
No, this I believe, if truth hurts, if truth really hurts, if truth harms people, I certainly believe there's no harm in lying. I will lie. I'm telling you, I confess. I'm nobody to lay a law, but I confess that as a human being, as a teacher, as somebody, if truth really hurts someone, I would lie. And we have, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, yes, we have examples, even in our epics and Puranas, where great rishis and sages have said a lie to protect someone from being harmed. You see, so I believe that compassion is a bigger virtue than truth. I really believe that.
Right, sir.
So
right, sir. Thank you, sir. One more query is one more question, sir. Participants, one participant would like to know your view in this pandemic crisis. How can moral values be followed with the pathetic conditions of the migrants? Whether these values, what values hold for them, for the migrants?
That's what I wished, and somehow I could get that topic here, but this is not the time or occasion. But I would say, when one sees people in suffering, in misery, when I talk of compassion, what can you as an individual go and remove them from their misery? No, you cannot. Can all of us together elevate their misery? We cannot. But yes, to a certain extent, we can reduce it. So if each of us in this country thought that yes, we can do something, their misery and their unhappiness would have been certainly reduced. This happened in Vizag. When people were walking through Vizag, somebody came to know that there were these thousands of people who would be walking through Vizag, and somebody wanted to do something. So there were all these WhatsApp messages, and I was very happy that actually people came forward, and not just money. People came with food, water, medicines. People came with footwear, which I thought was a very sensible thing. And the most sensible thing, which I would like to share here, which nobody thinks about, what there were actually some women who realized that these women could be facing unknown hardships if they're having their periods. They actually came with sanitary napkins and distributed to all the women, and they were accepted. So this is called compassion. This is called knowing somebody's misery. You don't say, oh, or put a photo on Facebook or give 100. That is not it. It's to understand what can be misery or what can be unhappiness, and to the best of our ability. I'm not saying I can remove every misery in this world, but what I can do as an individual, what you can do as an individual, let's do it on our level. And in the longer run, it's certainly going to make the world a better place. On that note, on that optimistic note, I would like to say thank you to all my esteemed audience who are here. That was wonderful talking to you. I wish I was actually there sitting in person with all of you and probably arguing or discussing or whatever it is. But I hope that too will happen. As all things come to a pass, this too shall pass, and we shall probably do it. And yes, on that note,
Thank you, sir.
Should I say thank you once again?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Sir, there
Darshika,
are
mein
so
chai
many.
kahan hai? I was about to ask Darshika for my chai.
Sir, a little bit formality.
Yes.
Online chai, sir. Online chai.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So there are
Sorry,
many
sir, I had
comments
a-
and queries pouring even now also. So now
Can we? I wouldn't mind keeping it for some other day.
Right,
Precisely because
right.
I need to. No, I'm telling you now.
Positive time, right.
Suhasini ma'am knows that I need to go down. There are
Done.
two old ladies at home who had to be taken care of. So
Right.
they had to go and ask if they need anything. So
Right.
that kind of limits my thing. And
So we'll come to the. So now I would invite Dr. Preeti Thakur Madam, who is the IQAC coordinator of Christian Eminent College, Indore, to deliver the formal vote of thanks. Madam, please, Preeti Madam, over to you. So, Madam, please unmute.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
I cannot see her also.
Preeti Madam, please unmute. Please unmute yourself.
I think you have to tell her that there's something called mute, unmute. Just the unmute thing.
Sir, there may be network issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am. Unmute yourself. No, ma'am, you are not audible. Unmute yourself.
Can you call her personally and tell her?
Tell her that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please carry on. Yes.
Aya?
Done.
No.
No.
Voice.
अनम्यूट कर लो ना अनम्यूट कर लो जो
Deva.
Hello. Ha. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes, Nimi.
Yes, madam. Yeah. There is some technical issue from her part, it seems.
Yeah. So can you take over?
Right. Okay. So we are really sorry that it was not audible. So we would like to thank all
Sir is in a hurry, right?
participants, all the organizing team, and all the dignitaries. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Darshika madam is here. Darshika?
Yeah.
Yeah, Darshika, please, you can wind up.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I know Rashmi madam is trying hard, but then there's some technical issue.
Right.
So, many wondrous things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They are just felt.
Yes.
Thank you is one such prayer among them. So I would like to extend a feeling of gratitude to our Honorable Secretary, Sri Rajendra ji.
हाँ अब आ रहा है?
आ रहा है.
Yes, great. We have you back.
Great.
So I have to repeat or I will.
Please, madam,
full
we would like
thing.
to hear you, ma'am. We could not hear you.
Everything. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, madam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning all. First of
morning.
all, I would like to give my hearty vote of thanks to Professor V. Ramesh sir. To listen to such a versatile personality is itself an accomplishment, and we are really enlightened with your knowledge and graceful presence. We are really thankful to Sri K.G.Mittal ji, Chief Patron and Honorary Secretary, Marwadi Vidyalaya Trust, Dr. Suhasini Arya ma'am, Director Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce, Mumbai, Dr. Shagun Srivastava, Principal, Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce, Mumbai. A very special thanks to Shri Samir Mir, Chairman, Honorable Chairman, Christian Eminent College, Professor H.N. Gupta, Director, Christian Eminent College, and Professor Y.S. Chauhan, Director, Administration, Christian Eminent College, Dr. Rajesh Vyas, Principal, Christian Eminent College, for their support and guidance. We are fortunate enough to be backed by a very dedicated and motivated team of Srimati K.G.Mittal College of Arts and Commerce. A very big thank you to Mrs. Nimmi Menon, AC Coordinator, Mrs. Mamta Balwanti, Ms. Darshika Karia, Dr. Sunil Gosavi, Mrs. Shubhangi Ma'am, and her entire technical support team, and to make this webinar successful. Once again, I would like to give my heartfelt vote of thanks to Dr. Suhasini Arya, ma'am. Ma'am, with this association and working on our MOU, both colleges have embarked on a very meaningful journey of excellence. We always look forward for such fruitful sessions and guidance in future. I thank all the educational fraternity and participants for their support, for their coordination. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. So, with the permission of the chair, Shagun Srivastava madam, Arya madam, and Rajesh Vyas sir, can we announce the conclusion of this webinar?
Yes.
Arya madam, Shagun madam,
Yes.
Ramesh
Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Jaruji. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, all
Ramesh.
of you.
Thank you, Ramesh sir.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And take care, all of you.
Yeah,
Same
sir.
to
You
you,
too.
sir.
Okay,
Same
take
to
care.
you, sir.
Yeah.
And stay
Thank you.
safe. All of you. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Bye.